Why Media Group? The fastest growing media group in North America.
Hello viewers, this is Abhijit Parashar and you're watching Why Media. Once again, we're back with an interesting and informative discussion on the show. Today, we're going to talk about diabetes, its myths, and some of the stigma. November is the month which is known as the Diabetes Awareness Month. Diabetes Canada is bringing up some of the information and is doing some of the groundbreaking work to bring out awareness out there in community. So without further ado, viewers, let's just welcome our guest. So we are very honored to welcome our guest, Dr. Lorraine Lipscomb, who is the chair of the mission committee, and Gitika Bhardwaj, who's going to tell her journey about diabetes. So thank you so much, Dr. Lorraine and Gitika ji, for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you. And thank you so much, Gitika ji, for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Abhijit, for having me as well.
So, Dr. Lorraine, I want to come to you first. As I was going through, a lot of articles and reading a lot about diabetes, I found one thing that there is still a lot of misconception out there with people, even though the ones who are suffering from it and they're every day in the discussion with their respective doctors and all, but still there's a lot to know. So first of all, if you could just tell our viewers that what are the types of diabetes?
Yeah, of course. Thanks for the question. So it is true that there is a lot of knowledge out there that I think we need to share to make sure people understand what diabetes is, why it happens, and what we can do about it. So diabetes happens, all types of diabetes happen when the body can't make or use insulin properly, and this leads to high blood sugar. Now, there are two broad main types. Type 1, which occurs when the immune system destroys insulin-producing cells. It's usually diagnosed in children or young adults, and it always requires insulin for treatment. On the other hand, type 2 diabetes, which is the far more common type, develops when insulin doesn't work properly. And it's often due to a mixture of genetics, age, weight, diet, and sometimes stress. And luckily, it can be treated with pills, but sometimes it also needs insulin.
This is an important thing, and you said the big words like there's a lot. But on this note, Gitika ji, I want to come to you. If you could share your story with us. When did you got diagnosed with this?
I first got diagnosed during my first pregnancy several years back. And I was told I'm gestational. So although I knew what diabetes is because my mother was diagnosed diabetic a couple of years before that, I had a rough idea what causes it. And as we are talking about it, it makes me a little bit kind of concerned, to be honest. Because 17 years back, when I was doing a TV show, we had a health segment of it where we actually had a physician who would come and tell diabetes and South Asian increasing number in Canada. How are they both related? So we would be talking about why is it happening? Why are the numbers increasing? What policy changes need to be made? What's going wrong here? And fast forward today, we're talking about primarily the same issue. I have a feeling that the first question when you ask someone, especially in our community, that, oh, you are diabetic, and the first thing that comes to everybody's mind is, oh, you must be eating a lot of sugar. So as Dr. Lipscomb said, lots of reasons for type 2 diabetic people, not just sweet tooth, as normally people assume. So after the first pregnancy, my second pregnancy was also gestational. I was prescribed insulin. And post-delivery mobility issues, I think, became the focus of my healthcare team and myself because I wanted to spend time as a new mother with my new babies. So the focus was how to start walking pain-free. That took a long time. There were underlying health issues. And I guess the pre-diabetes got somewhere lost in between there. And then just casually speaking in a doctor's office once or twice, it was brought up like, oh, it seems like you're pre-diabetic. But nobody explained. I didn't focus much on that. Time passed, and then last year I was in the hospital a couple of times, and then I was diagnosed as full-blown diabetic patient. So that came as a surprise to me because it's like, oh, I remember being gestational several years back, and now what happened? So I think that's when it came as a shock, and I wanted to figure out, okay, where did I go wrong? Was I to be blamed for all of this, for new diagnosis here? And I feel like sometimes when you get diagnosed as a diabetic patient, because so many of South Asians around you are suffering, and so many people in the family that you know are probably having social circle, you kind of feel like, oh, I'm not sure if I want to bring it up. Yeah. And I'm not saying because you are being judged, it's just uncomfortable sometimes because it's like, oh, I'm not sure, like let me figure it out myself. What did I do wrong? Because that's the first question, right? As a diabetic, like, oh, you've been eating a lot of sugar, you don't like to exercise, you've probably done something wrong there that happened to you, right? Dr. Lipscomb, you can add to that if I'm just telling what I went through or what I see other people talking about, or this is generally what it's like.
Yeah.
No, Geetika, absolutely. I think your story is all too common, and your experience of blaming yourself and feeling like you did something wrong is also very common. And I think this is something really important that we have to dispel, that diabetes is not a person's fault. It's not just about their lifestyle, about how they, what they eat or their physical activity. It's about everything, about biology, genetics, and the world we live in combining to put people at a particularly higher risk.
Yeah, I guess that was the first point when last year I kind of wanted to do my own research, thinking, what did I do wrong? It began with that, the whole research, but I realized that this is not food related or sweet tooth related issue. Lots of other things could be a factor contributing towards that.
Yeah.
But with this, doctor, I want to ask you, like, it always comes as a shock, whenever someone gets diagnosed. So what could be the early signs so that it doesn't come like a shock whenever they get diagnosed, so that people could get to know that, okay, maybe if this is happening, maybe I should get it tested?
Yeah, thanks for that question. So there are some symptoms that people have when the blood sugar gets very high. They may feel extra thirsty, they may be urinating more often, they may feel more tired, and they even may notice some blurry vision or even weight loss. But the tricky part is that most people have no symptoms at all in the early stages of diabetes. No wonder it comes as a shock, because it is silent until the sugars get very high. In fact, it takes an average of 5 to 7 years for type 2 diabetes to be diagnosed after it develops. Luckily, women who do get diagnosed with gestational diabetes, this is a sign that they may be at higher risk in the future. But we have to but unfortunately, many, as you heard from Geetika's story, the time after pregnancy is busy. And there's so many other things to think about. And if we don't provide women with the right support after pregnancy so that they know what to do and they know that they need to be tested regularly, then they've missed that opportunity. So that's some of the work that I'm actually doing in my research, is to try and find better ways to support women who've had gestational diabetes, make them more aware of their risk and what they can do about it. But for the general population, regular screening for diabetes is vital. It's recommended that everyone over the age of 40 should get tested at least every 3 years, and even earlier or more frequently if they have extra risk factors for diabetes.
Perfect. It's a big thing, like, people can get to know and they can note their own science on their own level. But Geetika ji, as you know, for the people for whom diabetes has become a part of their journey, so have you ever felt like that it got stigma for you, or you've seen like it is coming in your day-to-day life, and it is coming as an obstacle for the ability, to manage your day-to-day things or any of the opportunity?
Abhijit, I actually haven't focused on personal cases of stigma because I got so shocked as last year. I wanted to just right away jump into how to help myself. Why did it happen? And I'm going to add to Dr. Lipscomb that as a new mother, of course, your whole priority list changes, right? And there's so many new things you're going to learn along the way. You want to do it. And I am educated. As I said before, I knew what diabetes is because my mother had it.
Yeah.
I can do my own research. What about people who are not kind of comfortable going back to the doctor's office? There's language gap, there's cultural gap. Now, there's just a hesitation to ask questions to a doctor. And in our culture, Dr. Lipscomb, we say teacher and doctor, be careful when you ask questions because they know what they're doing.
Yes.
So it's difficult sometimes to go and say, oh, I don't think this is right. I want to be reassessed for that. To question a doctor, sometimes you kind of don't want to do that. You go along with the advice. But I would say that I learned along the way that it is very important to be your own voice. If you don't think that something is feeling right in your own body, it's okay to question. It's okay to ask. Don't worry about what other people might think, or you're going back again and again with the same question. So go and talk about it. And as I always say, sometimes you're sitting in the doctor's office, there's so many, free pamphlets available.
Yeah.
Ask the doctor, ask the front office, where can I get more information about this issue? And my only thing is that please don't hesitate to ask questions. I am a reporter by nature, so I don't hesitate asking questions. But even I felt like I was questioning myself last year, like, how did I miss this?
Yeah.
So it's important to be taking care of yourself and become your own voice for your own health.
And I agree 100%, Gitika. Thank you for that very important message. As a healthcare provider, I can tell you we welcome questions, and I recognize that all of us could learn how to be more empathic and supportive, and not make people feel like they've brought this upon themselves. This is something that's very important that people know. They did not bring this on themselves. Diabetes is not a sign of weakness or failure. It is a medical condition. People have the right to know how to handle it, what potentially could have caused it, and what they can do about it. And I think that's our role, is to help people feel safe and not feel judged when they want to take care of themselves.
Like Dr. Lipscomb, I would actually want your opinion on, like, just take me as a case for our listeners and viewers. Like, what might have gone wrong? Why did I miss it? What happened along the way? As I said, that 2 gestational diabetes diagnosis, and then mobility issues. What happened along the way for 10 years?
Gitika, I wish I could answer that. I think it's a very common situation where even if you do everything right, there are people who are more vulnerable to getting type 2 diabetes. And so I cannot tell you if you've done anything wrong. And in fact, most people haven't done anything wrong when they get type 2 diabetes. It's just a question of that mix, that combination of their biology, their genetics, their age, and their whatever living stressors and environment that they have, that they're facing at that point. And so for us, it's not about looking back and saying, what did you do wrong? But it's about looking forward and finding ways that we can make sure that people have the resources, information, and support they need to manage their diabetes. And people can, if the diabetes is managed well, people can have a long, healthy, symptom-free and complication-free life with diabetes. But they need to speak up, they cannot be ashamed, and they cannot blame themselves.
Also, Doctor, as Gitika ji mentioned, that she already knew that what exactly diabetes is because her mother's, was diagnosed with it. So it shows a sign of like how genetics are involved, and as even you mentioned. So please tell our viewers that how genetics play their role specifically in getting symptoms or signs for type 2 diabetes.
Yes, it is very true that type 2 diabetes runs in families. In fact, having a parent or sibling with type 2 diabetes increases your own risk by 2 to 4 times. And that risk goes up to 70% if both parents are affected. So definitely there's a strong family predisposition. But it's not caused by one single gene, and it's not caused by genes alone. It's also, there's also a contribution of shared environments, common family stressors, common ways in which families live, eat, etc. So it's complex, even with respect to a condition that runs in the family. We also know that certain ethnic groups, in particular the South Asian population, but also other groups like Black and Indigenous communities, have a higher risk of diabetes even without a strong family history. And this has to do with the way in which the biology adapts to the environment and conditions in which we are born. And then when those conditions change, then the body has more difficulty adapting. And that's what we believe has happened with a lot of ethnic groups who not only have some genetic factors, but also have had these rapid shifts in the environments in which these populations have lived.
And just a quick question, doctor. Is it easy to find out like if it is coming from generation, and if not, then where did it started? Like from which generation it started up? Is it easy to like find out?
Well, that's a very difficult question. A lot of people are doing research on that right now to try and better understand that complex relationship between genes, between what we call, the environmental factors that occur even before people are born, when they're being born, and then how far back that goes in generation. But I imagine many people can tell us that they didn't see diabetes in previous generations before the last one or two, maybe grandparents have diabetes, but beyond that, it wasn't as common. And so that really speaks to this rapid change that the whole world has seen in our environments that has not been as compatible with the biology of certain populations.
Perfect. I also have a quick question on the generation. But before that, I'll come to Gitikaji. Gitikaji, you are such a strong soul. You are now, inspiration for a lot of people who were recently diagnosed or who were even diagnosed earlier. What makes you stay resilient in this journey?
Thank you, Abhijit, for your kind words. But to be honest, I'm going to let the viewers and listeners know you sometimes have to find that resilience within you. And once you know, as I always say, once you know there's a problem, the awareness, then you can find a solution. You can start looking for solutions. And there's a lot of solutions out there. Diabetes Canada has so many resources, the support there. But the problem is you first need to know the issue. So once you know it, then start working on it. I am so, in a way, I'm kind of happy. Okay, I ended up in the hospitals last year. I was told I'm fully diabetic. At least I figured out. And now I can work towards how to change things that will help. And as Dr. Lipscomb said, I can't change what's past. Genetically, I was gestational, any underlying health issues. I can't change all of those. Then what else can be positive and help me here? So for example, like find ways. I know it is snowing in November in Toronto. So already have a plan B. If I'm not going to be able to walk in winter for next 4 or 5 months, what am I going to do? Am I going to just sit and say, oh, because it's snowing, I can't do that? No, find a plan B. Make sure every day is a priority list that includes you too. Especially as women, especially as a mommy, especially as a caretaker. Um, so include that. And I know I'm saying this, but I've learned it myself. Like, I'm making food for the rest of the family, and now I'm not going to make myself a priority, because even if one dish, I've made five that were happy dishes for the kids, even if they were healthy, but I have to keep myself in mind while I'm in the kitchen cooking. What are the three or maybe two main ingredients that are important for my intake, so that my blood sugar at night time or in the afternoon doesn't go up? So it's just sometimes it's a matter of like 2 minute, 3 minute thinking just about yourself. But because I think, and I'm not going to say just one community or one religion or one country or one region of the world thinks like that. I think it's very universal. As women, we always want to be taking care of the rest of the family, and then it's us. And sometimes then it's us comes very late, which is not helpful, because
Absolutely.
you want to be the caretaker, you better take care of yourself first as well. And so I think my message, or the only thing I would share with the listeners, is make yourselves also a priority.
And I would like to add, actually, I really love your message, Geetika, and I would like to add that not only make yourself a priority, because if you're not healthy, then how are you going to be able to be a good caretaker? However, I also feel like you're such a good role model when you are taking care of yourself. You're a good role model for your family. And why make a different meal? I think you teach them that this is a healthier way of eating, right? So get the support from your family by working together with them, and they all join you in this pursuit of health. Even if they don't have diabetes, it's still a healthier way of eating.
Thanks, Dr. Lipscomb, for adding that. That is very key. I have 2 boys, and I'm making sure that they're learning all the healthy cooking in the kitchen with me.
Good. Excellent.
Great thing. And this is something which brings out, difference when people see people hear about this. So this is something which makes difference. And coming closer to the end, I want to come to Doctor, to you. As we were talking about the generation thing, in today's time, like this lifestyle or today's generation, is it something that these days people are more prone to diabetes, or it is just a myth?
Well, we're still finding out. There's a lot we're still trying to learn about, how this risk is passed on from generation to generation. But for now, the research does say that if you have family members, particularly siblings or parents with type 2 diabetes, that risk is going to be higher in our younger generation. We are also seeing younger people getting type 2 diabetes at an earlier age than their parents and their grandparents. And so I think the most important thing is raising awareness and making sure that people understand this is nothing to be ashamed about, that this is not your fault. And that don't be afraid to ask questions, don't be afraid to go and get tested, because there's something you can do about it, and learn ways in which it can be prevented. We know that if you have a family predisposition and it runs in your family, perhaps it can't be completely prevented. As we know, many people do all the right things and they still get the condition. So it really, it isn't always completely prevented. But at least if people are more aware that there are things that they can do to help maybe lower their risk, then that's a start.
Perfect. Big words again, Doctor, and this is something which brings us all on the same page, where even they know or they don't know, but they come on the same page to get aware about diabetes. And especially as Diabetes Canada is doing a lot, and especially in this month of November, where we celebrate it as a Diabetes Awareness Month. So it's a big thing, big initiative. And as we always say, that Diabetes Canada is doing this groundbreaking work where people are getting aware and they are at least coming out and talking about it. So because sometimes there are I wouldn't say disease or something, but there are some problems which we might feel that maybe it is not that big to be discussed, but the reality is different. So same with diabetes, and kudos to Diabetes Canada, the kind of work they're doing and the kind of motivation we get from Gitika ji. So it's a big thing in this small world. So thank you so much, Gitika ji, and thank you so much, Dr. Lorraine, for joining us. But before ending this, Dr. Lorraine, anything you want to add for our viewers?
Thank you. So I just want to reiterate that my message is really simple, that again, diabetes is not anyone's fault, and we can make such a big difference if we just give people the permission to ask about it, to get tested, and not feel like they're doing something wrong if they get it. We need to move from pointing fingers to linking arms and offering support.
And same with Gitika ji, if you want to add something.
I think I'm just going to add to whatever I was saying, that first, if you figured out a problem, it will lead you to a solution. And don't blame yourself. So that's very key, because stress may be a factor, one of the factors in why you've been diagnosed with diabetes, or besides many other factors that contribute towards that. So don't add one more stress by blaming yourself. So relax on that, and now just start working towards how to fix this thing.
Thank you so much, Gitika. These words are something which are going to ring in the people ear who are diagnosed with diabetes. But it's a big thing, and it's a motivation, and it inspires a lot of people who can face it up in a more brave manner. So thank you so much, Gitika ji, for joining us and sharing your story with us. And thank you so much, Dr. Lorraine, for bringing up awareness out there and doing a huge amount of credible work with Diabetes Canada and letting us know about the awareness. So thank you so much for joining. Before ending this, viewers, I want to add that you can also register yourself with Diabetes Canada. You can directly go to diabetes.ca/stop the stigma. With this, Diabetes Canada, who is doing commendable work in bringing out awareness with people out there in the society, so you can also join and be a part of it. So with this, we are ending this important discussion with which we are bringing out awareness with people. If you also want to be part of it, do join us. And with this, on similar note, we will keep on bringing a similar kind of important and interesting conversation. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned with Y Media.
Y Media Group, the fastest growing media group in North America.